Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Pompoween. If you were here for last year's Pompoween, you'll have seen that I did Beetlejuice. And with that came a lot of requests for Lydia Deetz. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. It's a super simple costume that if you need something last minute, it is the perfect costume that everyone will recognize and everyone will love. So this tutorial is going to be very quick and easy, but I think it's going to be really fun too. So before I begin, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support means the world to me, especially during Pompoween. And let's get started. As you can see, I've got these big circle lenses in, and that is because Lydia is a child. And the bigger your eyes are, or the bigger they seem, the more childlike you seem. And so I thought this would be just a handy little trick to make me seem a little bit younger, fingers crossed, because I am not a spring chicken anymore. So we're gonna have to pretend. And I just have moisturizer on my face, so I'm going to begin with some primer. I'm using the Milk Hydro Primer because my skin tends to be pretty dry, so I like using more hydrating primers. But this one doesn't leave a dewy finish, and for this look, I really want a matte finish for my face. So for the skin, I really want to pale myself down, but I don't want to go with a pure white. So I'm going to go for a foundation that's like maybe 2 shades lighter than my actual skin tone. And I'm going to start with that. I'm just going to buff that into my skin just to get an overall paleness. I'm using the Milk Matte Foundation in the color Creme, by the way. And you can see that already pales me down pretty well. But I do want to pale myself down further. And also, whoops, be careful not to get any under the eye area. There are not many looks that you can take advantage of your dark circles, but this is one of them. So let's make use of them. So normally I don't apply my foundation with a buffing brush, but because I want to really change the color of my skin, I really want to make sure that this foundation is worked in really well, and I want to make sure I cover any of the redness around my nose. That's where I get the most redness, but keeping clear of the eye area. There we want to go dark. Because I'm changing my skin tone to pale myself down, I also want to make sure to get the neck. Otherwise, you'll just look like you have a mask on. So be sure to bring it down to the neck and also get the ears. Now, they might be covered by the wig, but just in case, I don't want to forget them. Now, the reason I didn't go for a white is because she's just meant to look really pale and kind of sickly. And so the way they did that is by really just kind of paling her down to a believable level, not just putting white on her face. So that's why I would recommend going like 2 shades lighter than your own foundation for something like this, because you just want to look like you haven't seen the sun in the past like 10 years. You don't want to go for like clown white makeup. Once that's done, I'm just going to conceal any little blemishes that are still poking through and any redness that is still poking through as well. And I just like using my finger to blend concealer out. I find that the warmth of your finger really helps to blend it out seamlessly while still keeping it pretty concentrated on the areas that you want to conceal. Now, I feel like I do have a pretty similar face shape and structure to Winona Ryder, but it never hurts to contour. So I'm going to take the Lunatic Labs Volume 2 palette, and I'm going to go ahead and use this color right here. And I'm really going to try to accentuate the cheekbones, make them pretty high. So I'm going maybe a little bit higher than where I'd normally contour. I'd usually contour here. I'm going here just to really make the cheekbone seem a little bit higher up. And I might actually mix this color here too. I don't want it to seem like super contoured because she doesn't seem to have any contour at all really. But you can see that just helps with the facial structure a little bit. If you compare each side, this just accentuates it a little bit more, especially if you're going to take pictures and all that. I imagine if you're going to put on a costume, you will want to take pictures. So contouring just really helps so that you don't look really washed out in pictures. And I'm going to contour my nose very slightly just for that same reason, because it just reads better in pictures. She's got a pretty straight nose too, so just helps a little bit, you know. I will also contour my chin because she has almost like a little butt chin. She's got a little bit of that going on. So I'm just going to very lightly create that little shadow here, and then right under the lip to kind of make the chin seem a little more pronounced. Ever so slightly. She just has that little dimple on the chin. I'm also just going to contour the sides of my temples and along my forehead too. Now I'm going to do a very tiny bit of matte highlighting. I'm going to use this yellow shade here in the palette, and this is going to just set my makeup, but it'll also help to highlight a little bit. So I'm just going to run that along my cheekbones. That'll also help to make them seem a little more pronounced. I will go with a translucent powder to kind of set everything after, but this will just help to accentuate that contouring that I did. And then also on the chin, down the nose, and maybe just a slight dusting under the contour, but not too much. She does have a pretty strong jawline, so that's why doing that there, not a ton. I'm using a smaller brush so that I can be more precise in certain areas like the nose and the chin. And if you don't have a pale yellow powder, you can use a white, but very, very lightly. You don't want to get an ashy sort of cast. You just want to accentuate certain areas. I just realized I think I kind of flew through that intro and I didn't even tell you which version of Lydia I'm doing. It is this one, the one where she's wearing the big straw hat. And I chose that one because I feel like it's the most simple out of all her looks because you don't have to worry about the big messy hair in the back. You just need some straight black hair, the little bangs, and a hat, and you're good to go. And it's just a long black dress. So I feel like it's a very kind of closet costume or closet cosplay. I'm gonna go ahead and do brows next. Luckily, I've got a pretty similar brow shape to her. It's pretty straight, but there's still a bit of a defined arch. So I'm just going to fill it in. I'm using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the color black. I'm just going to be pretty light-handed with this. Don't have to go crazy. And I'm gonna try to accentuate this arch right here, but I also want to kind of straighten the bottom a little bit. And I'm bringing the end kind of straight out, making it a little bit more of a blunt end rather than a super defined and crisp brow, because again, she is a child, so she didn't have like super plucked and defined brows. You know what I mean? Now once that's done, I'm going to move on to the eyes, and by that I mean the under eye area. And you really kind of want to make it look almost bruised. It almost looks like a healing bruise. So I kept my under eye darkness, but I'm going to accentuate it and change it up a little bit. Hers tends more towards the purplish tones. Mine has got a bit of redness to it, and I'm going to go in with the NYX Ultimate Cool Neutrals palette. I've actually done bruises with a few of the colors in here. They work really, really well for that. If you want to learn how to make fake bruises, I have a whole video on how to do that on my Patreon, so be sure to check that out. And so I'm going to start with this shade right here. I'm going to grab a little bit and I'm going to apply it in the inner corner, but not directly in the inner corner where I'd normally highlight, just kind of below that. And then where there's a natural like dip or crease right here, where you can usually tell like the under eye bag, where that crease is, I'm going to accentuate it even more. So it's quite common when people are trying to accentuate the under eye to just apply kind of purple all across the under eye area, and it works, but it looks very kind of cartoonish and stylized, and I'm going for a more realistic approach, which is what they did in the movie. And here it just kind of is accentuating the natural anatomy. And I'm also going to take that color and accentuate the outer corner of my under eye area, just blending that a little bit, but I'm also bringing it and kind of connecting it to this crease. So it's accentuating it on both sides. Here I might just blend it out a touch, and you can see that kind of looks like I'm recovering from a black eye. And that's the look we're going for, really. For realistic dark circles, this is what you want to accentuate. Gonna just accentuate this a little bit more. Once that's done, I'm going to take this darker maroon color or plum, and I'm just going to take that just a little bit to really accentuate this right here, and then the outer corner as well, kind of close to the lash line. I'm also going to take that first color and just dust it on my eyelid a little bit, concentrating it on the inner corner and outer as well. Just want to give a little more redness and darkness to the lids, and I'm bringing that into the inner corner as well to kind of really sink that in. Yeah, you can tell that really kind of helps to define the eye socket, which is a weird thing to say. In some of her looks, she has like black eyeliner, but not in this scene specifically. So I'm not going to do it, but you can feel free to do it if you want to really accentuate the darkness around the eyes. Instead, I'm going to take this darker color and I'm just going to apply that real close to my lash line. Because this is like a daytime scene, she's all casual and stuff. She's not wearing makeup, or like, you know what I mean? The character isn't wearing makeup. So just by doing that, I can accentuate the lashes. I can make the eyes a little bit darker, but it's not full on black. I will, however, put on mascara though, because again, you don't want to seem washed out, and mascara just really helps to kind of define the eyes, and it also adds a little bit more darkness to the eye area without being like super obvious like a black eyeliner, for example. Quick little thing that I forgot to do is I'm actually going to take a little bit of the pale powder and I'm going to almost kind of highlight right here in the center of my under eye area. She just has a little bit of like a paleness to this area, so I'm just going to lightly pale that down a little bit, but I'm just going to lightly blend that out. Don't want it to be too crazy, just want a little something there. Now for the lips, I'm just taking some makeup remover on a little cotton round, rather cotton square, and I'm just taking off the excess foundation that is on my lips, being careful not to remove any foundation that's around it. Now it doesn't seem like she has any lip products on at all, maybe lip balm, but I'm just going very lightly with a lip liner that matches my lip shade, and this is the Dose of Colors Truffle lip liner, and I'm just going to try to emulate her lip shape. She's got a little bit of a rounder top lip, and then she's got a rounder bottom lip as well. So I'm just going to line that and then lightly fill in my lip, but I still want my natural lip shade to peek through. So I'm not completely filling in my lips with this. And her Cupid bow isn't super defined, so I just mellowed it out a little bit. If the pencil seems a little harsh, you can always go in with a Q-tip and just soften it up a little bit. You can put on a little bit of clear lip balm if you'd like. I'm going to use the Milk Kush lip balm, the Green Dragon, which is the colorless one. Just a tiny bit. The lip balm will also help you diffuse the lip liner if it's a little too harsh. Now, as a final touch, I'm just going to lightly powder my face where I need it the most. So on my T-zone mainly. I'm just using some translucent powder because her look is very, very matte. So I want to make sure I stay mattified. Now I just want to set everything, and I'm going to go in with the Smashbox Photo Finish Setting Spray. I really, really love this spray. It really holds everything in place. And while this is drying, I'm going to go get dressed, put on my wig, get my hat, everything, and then I'll come back to show you the finished look. And this is the finished look. Bonus points if you have an old camera that you can hang around your neck. If you want to learn how to style these bangs, I have a whole video on how to do that up on my Patreon where I cut and style them. It's super simple and easy, but very, very effective. And I'm just so happy. I'm Lydia. This makes me so happy. As you saw, this was super quick and easy, but I feel like it's a great costume idea because 1, it's very recognizable. 2, it's super easy. You probably already have a long black dress in your closet. I actually stole my husband's button-up shirt. Works great. And 3, you can turn it into a couple's or a friend's costume and have Beetlejuice with you. So yeah, I feel like I'm the grown-up version of Lydia because I definitely do not look, I don't even know how old she was back then. Was she like, what, 15? Probably tops. I definitely do not look 15, but I'm very happy as an older Lydia. I do not mind. My ears are sticking out in a really weird way because I've got all the wig hair tucked behind them because she has her hair tucked behind her ears, but I might just leave it like this so that they're not like pushed out. But now I'm about to do a photo shoot with my friend Kyle, who's a photographer, and I'm going to bring you guys along for a little behind the scenes action.
There's a hair in your face.
that's it. I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of the BTS for the photo shoot. I hope you're enjoying Pompoween so far. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to all my patrons who support me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.